Good afternoon, participants. Welcome to the session today. I hope you all are all well and eager to learn something new. Okay, so today we are going to learn and we are going to understand a very important bit from the syllabus. There is a topic in the syllabus which we are going to cover today. But at the same time, today's session is extremely interesting because we are going to touch upon two very new and very critical life skills. Okay, now in the past, I think about a decade or a decade and a half, there are two terms which have come in the teaching learning scenario. One is self learning. All right, with the advent of technology and social media and all of that, there is so much of information just hitting all of us. How do we learn from this information that is available all around us? Okay, how do we learn? That is an important thing. Self learning. Okay, you cannot always join an online program or whatever, but from all the information that is hitting you from all areas, how do you self learn? Okay, that is one important critical life skill that we will touch upon during this session. The other new life skill which has come about is lifelong learning. Once again, the way technology is getting integrated in the various areas of life, all of us have to constantly learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay, so lifelong learning is becoming another important life skill that we should have in today's world and the future. Now, while these two life skills, self-learning and lifelong learning, we should incorporate in our own learning journey. More importantly, I think as teachers and educators, we should also try to incorporate it into our teaching methods, whereby our students also become self-learners and they also get the importance of lifelong learning. They should get that, they should get bitten by the bug of learning. They should start to enjoy learning. They should see learning in everything. Okay, so we'll start off with, I'm going to show you a short film, okay? It's a very short, it's a 3-minute film. It's one of the best animations of 2019. Extremely good film. It's, I will not give you much of the background, but I just want you all to sit, enjoy, register what you're seeing. It's like one of those little movies which comes on WhatsApp. What you have to do is, how do we learn from this? So the whole concept is about learning from something that you see. Okay, so just register, do not take down notes, do not get distracted, just watch the film. It's 3 minutes. We shall see it again. So as we go along, we can come back and revisit it, okay, if you all have missed anything. All right. Okay. So I hope you all enjoyed that little animation movie. Now I want you all to take just half a minute to just reflect on what happened in the movie. What was the story? Okay. So if you can understand the story that happened, then were there any observation points? What were the learnings? So any story, even if it's a 3 minute video that you just saw, or something that somebody sends a little write up on WhatsApp, or anything that comes across to you, it never has, most of the things never have only one learning. There are so many little observations and so many learnings that you can get out of a single story. So that's what I want you all to reflect on. Reflect back on the film that you saw, think of the storyline, and then get those observation points. What were the points which the story told you and which is a learning? Okay, let's just do it. Keep to yourself for half a minute, 1 minute. Now use your paper and pencil, jot it down, and then we'll see the film once again, and then you all can add on to it. Okay, so just 1 minute I'll give you all. You all can use the Q&A box if you all have any queries for me, if there are any questions in your mind. Don't put very long questions, put very short questions and something related to this, okay? All right. Okay, I think most of y'all would have put down a couple of points. Okay, that's okay. Now let's watch the movie again. This time you watch it for specific points of observation which teach you something, from which you can learn something. Okay, and now you can keep using your paper pencil to jot down. Okay, all right. Okay, so now that you saw the film once again, okay, so let's quickly go through the story. The story is about this little baby bird, Piper bird, okay, and Piper stays with the mother, okay, and they stay near the seashore, and they get their food from these shells which are there on the seashore, on hidden in the sand. So the mother goes every day towards the water and they find those shells and there is food in the shells. Okay. And this little baby Piper is with his beak open, telling mother to come and feed me. But the mother is saying this time, no, you have to learn to come here near the water and take food for yourself. I'm not going to bring the food to you. So the first time the baby bird goes and the wave comes, he gets wet. The bird gets wet and he's like little shocked with all the water coming and he's scared, right? He's scared of the water. However, what the baby bird does is he observes another insect, which, what did that insect do, the orange colored one? They bury themselves in the sand when the water comes, right? They don't run away. The birds all run away when the water comes. And because they are big birds, they can run faster. But the little baby bird can't run very fast. So he observes what this orange insect is doing. The orange insect is going inside the sand when the water comes, so that the shock of the water is not hitting them. So the baby bird says, this is a good idea. And he also tries to go in the sand when the water comes. Now, when he goes in the sand and the water comes, that is when he sees all the shells where the food is, all of them going sinking in the sand as well, right? So when the water wave goes away, the baby bird now knows exactly where those shells are, where the food is, right? So he is very happy. He has found a new way to avoid getting wet with the water, as well as to know where the food, where exactly the food is, right? So once the wave goes back, he goes and he picks all the food, the shells, and he shares it with the rest of the birds. He's happy, proud that I know, and everybody is enjoying the big shells that he gets. And then he sleeps well at night, right? So that's the whole story. So what were the observations? So I'm going to take you through almost 6 observations from this 3-minute film and the learnings from it. And I'm sure you all must have jotted down most of them. So see what your observations, where did you miss? What did you pick up correctly? Okay, this is self-learning, right? This is a very good example of self-learning. So what was the first observation? The first observation was, entitled behavior gets the little one nowhere. Parents and teachers have to stop giving or showing. Okay, so the more you tell your students or your kids that you will get everything spoon fed, it's not going to be good for them, right? Don't tell everything. Don't keep showing your students everything. Yes, guide them, show them, push them to find for their own selves, find answers for their own selves. So that is a good way of learning. Next, learning process can be very uncomfortable when you try something new for the first time. The first time the wave came and hit the little bird, he was like shocked, okay? Happens to all of us. I remember the first time I sat to learn computers. I mean, I have not grown up with computers. But the first time I saw a computer and I said, no, I want to learn it, and then I want to use it in the classroom, those were difficult times. It was very uncomfortable. I was so used to my blackboard. I was so used to talking from the textbook. And then suddenly you have the digital board and you have multimedia content and the students are different. So it is uncomfortable. So understand that learning process, even for your students, is uncomfortable. Even for your own selves, it's uncomfortable. So don't be too harsh on yourself. Let it go along, okay? The third observation, learn from failed attempts. So don't keep doing the same thing which you're failing, but find a mentor and try his or her strategy. Okay, the little bird found a mentor in that orange insect which was budding itself. So the little bird, instead of using the mother's strategy of running away from the water, used the mentor's strategy of burying itself in the sand. Okay, So learn from failed attempts. Don't keep failing again and again, doing the same thing. Do something different. Okay. Next, observation 4. When you learn something or have something, share it generously with others. Look at the happiness the music showed, the way the little bird was jumping around, picking up shells and giving it to the rest of the birds, right? So instead of being selfish and knowing, okay, I know where the food is, I will keep it to myself, he was happily, generously sharing it. That's what I'm sure all of us as teachers, that's what we want to do always, share whatever knowledge we have. Next, overcoming your fears is a challenge, but it helps you to stand on your 2 feet. The dependency ends when you overcome your fears, right? It is difficult, it is uncomfortable, it is a challenge, but once you overcome it, it helps you stand, it makes you independent. Now that little bird is not dependent on the mother, it is not with the beak open waiting for mama to give, right? And the last observation, good enthusiasm, high energy is liked by all and leads to happiness, right? So be energetic, even in your classroom, with your students, with your fellow teachers. The more energy, the more positivity, the more enthusiasm. Let's learn it together. Okay, you don't know this, wonderful, I'll teach you. I don't know this, please teach me. That kind of a give and take always works, and it is liked by all, right? So I don't know how many of y'all got how many of those observations. I'm sure most of y'all would have got some of them at least. But what I'm trying to, this is one methodology, okay, for self-learning and lifelong learning. Now, every video which comes to you on WhatsApp or everything that you watch on YouTube or you attend a workshop, whatever you're doing, see, observe. When you meet people, there are so many observations of that you can make from a meeting you have had, that and each observation is a learning. It gives you something to think about, right? So this is how self-learning happens. A 3-minute video can give you 6 very critical, very specific, very important observations and learnings. All right. Okay. So observation and jotting it down or noting it down, even if it's in your head, need not always be paper pencil, but it's an important critical life skill now.